with RCC construction. So today actually we are gradually enter into the design phase or the design procedure towards the structure design. So first of all, before starting the design phase of steel structure, we must learn that what is the structural engineering. So this definition that I have written here is a just comic way, just to make you understand how what an engineer is supposed to do when he is called structural engineer, and what are his responsibility as structural engineer. So first I will narrate this definition, then I will explain in my own words. So structural engineering is the art of modeling material we do not wholly understand into shape we cannot precisely analyze so as to withstand forces we cannot properly assess in such a way that the public has no reason to suspect the extent of our ignorance. Actually, this is not a proper definition, but this will give you just the idea what structural engineering is doing. Actually, structural engineering is the connection or integration of our two basic knowledge, engineering knowledge. One is structural analysis, and other is called mechanics of material or material strength. So what we will do, actually in structural engineering, I will just give you a simple example. I want to design a beam. Beam mean that it may be made of steel, it may be made of concrete. So I will give you the example of steel. So what we know, we only have the length of the beam. So what we want to do, we want to model, we want to select the shape of cross section. Shape of cross section mean that my objective is that whether I have to select I section, channel section, or maybe any other solid or rectangular section. So when we are selecting this section, so again our target is that whether this section should be made of steel or it should be made of concrete, or what should be the strength of that material. Actually, we want to select the cross section or shape of a certain material which we made of steel. So how we want to select? We want to select this shape of certain material in such a way that that cross section which is made of certain material will be able to withstand means to bear all the applied forces successfully. So successfully mean that when this material shape or the cross section of steel or cross section of concrete is subjected to applied loading, maybe UDL load, point load, or maybe UVL load. So there must not be any appreciable deformation in the structure, and it must not deform, and all the stresses are within the allowable range. So there must not be failure. Structure should be stable. So actually in all process, actually what we are doing and what information are required and how many approximation we are doing. For example, I will give you example. First of all, we compute the load. How much load is acting on a certain structure. So how we can estimate the load? So actually when we are computing the load, there are a lot of approximation also. Approximation mean that, for example, I say that this is a structure which is made of maybe steel building or concrete building. So I assume the self weight. Before redesigning, I cannot actually estimate the load. I assume that that load self weight will be the 10% of total load. So again, there is approximation in my assumption. And further, I assume a certain live load, and live load can be taken from the code depending upon the function of the building, whether it's a school building, residential building, or any industrial building. So again, I am just estimating the load. Maybe the live load will be 250 kilogram per meter square, but it may not be the actual load. Actual load may be 200, it may be 300. So it means that we are doing a lot of assumption and approximation in estimating the load. And further, when we have computed the load, so we apply that load on a structure. We assume that beam or column as a line element, and we analyze that structural element. What we do, we determine the force reaction. by using the basic mechanics, and then we plot the shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. In bending moment diagram and the shear force diagram, we compute what is the maximum shear force and what is the maximum bending moment. Again, this maximum bending moment and maximum shear force, it will be an estimated value. Why it will be estimated value? Because these values are based upon our estimated load which are acting on the structure. And then if we know maximum bending moment and maximum shear force in a beam, then we compute what are the maximum shear stresses are produced in the beam, or maximum flexure or bending stresses are produced in the beam. So actually we use the formula to compute the shear stresses and bending stresses. So shear formula tau is equal to VAY over IB, and the flexure formula sigma is equal to MY over I. Actually, the both formula, they are theoretical formula. These are not as also the 100% accurate formula, because this formula we have derived by assuming certain assumptions. What assumption? That material is perfectly elastic, cross section will be remain plane. But actually the material will not behave like that. It means that again, in order to compute that stresses, we have considered a lot of assumptions. But that assumptions are realistic and close to reality and based upon engineering principles. And what we do then, we compare the applied load effect. Applied load effect means that the applied stresses that are maybe bending stresses or the shear stresses against the material strength. So applied stress should be less than equal to material strength. So if they are equal, then our steel structural shape will be good to carry all the load safely. And again, there is a one sentence. Uh, For example, we do not wholly understand material. For example, material strength, we performed it, for example, tension test in our strength of material lab and compression test. Again, in that test, the values might be approximate if the machine is not properly calibrated. So again, there are chances that the value may not be very accurate, it may be precise. So actually, structure engineering, what we are doing, we want to balance the applied load effect against the material strength. And material strength mean that applied load effect may be the shear stresses, tensile stresses, and compressive stresses. So applied load effect should be less than material strength. And then we want to select a structural shape. We want to select the minimum cross section required to withstand all the applied load safely. So we always compute a minimum, not go for the higher side to achieve the economy. So what is the design of structure mean actually? So in design of structure, actually here I want to give you the two examples. Actually, you will hear two words. Two words mean that one is the design of structure and other is the capacity analysis. Capacity analysis is something different and design is something different. First, I will explain what is the design mean. And in the next slide, I will explain what is the capacity analysis. Okay. If during the lecture, you can also note down some important points and later on you can ask me. Actually, please do not open your mic, student. You can ask me the question at the end. I will give you the time for the question answer section. Okay, here, actually in design, we are having some given data and some unknown data. In design of structure, we are having certain information with us. What are that information? Number one, we shall be provided with architectural drawing. Architecture drawing where we are given the size of the building, size of different room, ceiling height or the height of each story. From architectural drawing, for example, if I want to design a beam, so actually I know the length of the beam. So length of the beam will be equal to the width or the length of the room, which is referred as a span. Or if I want to design the column, I know the story height, so I am provided with the length of the columns. So first of all, I must know that how many information are given. The first information given is that I know the length or span of member. I know the length of the column. I know the length of the beam or any other structure element. This is given, and this can be taken from the architectural drawing. Okay. Second, I also know the loads. They are not directly given, but I am having this information based upon the building size, area of the room. I can estimate the dead load. And if I know the function of the building, if this is a residential building, then I know that live load is 200 kilogram per meter square. We have seen in our previous lecture. If this is the office building, I know that live load is 250 kilogram per meter square. And if it is the institutional building, hospital and for example, universities, schools, then live load may be 300. So it means that if I know the function of the building, so I know the live load also. I can estimate the live load by my engineering sense, or I can directly consult the code. It means that we are given span and we are given the loads also. Third information we are given is the material. What type of the material we are going to use for the design of structure. Material mean that whether our client or the our client or customer, he want to construct the building of steel or concrete. If he want to construct the building with steel, then first of all, I need to do the survey of the market, what type of the steel is available and what steel I have to use. So there are many type of the steel. I will explain in maybe in next lecture or maybe today's lecture. So if I will do in the market, a steel is available which is called 836 steel. 836 mean that its yield strength is 30 KSI, or in other words, in the market, a mild steel is available whose yield strength is 250 megapascal. So I will check from the market what strength of steel is available in market. So what information I am having in design? I am having the span or the length of the member. I know the loads which I can estimate, and I am having the material data. So what I will do, from the estimated load and from the span of the beam, I will carry out the analysis. I will carry out the analysis, and then from the analysis I can determine maximum shear stresses and maximum bending stresses which are being produced. And then what is the unknown? Unknown is the cross section. Unknown is the cross section area of that member. So I want to select a minimum cross section of that element in such a way that all the applied stress must be less than equal to the material strength. I will compare the material strength against the applied stress. So again, I am repeating again, given data is span, material data, loading, and unknown is shape. Shape mean that cross section. Cross section, what type of the cross section I have to select? Maybe W section, channel section, angle section. And again, I have to check the market, what type of the cross section is available. I will select the cross section among the sections available in the market. So if you will read out these slides, I believe that you will understand what I wanted to convey. So So third, the second point here, a sound knowledge of principle of statics, dynamics, mechanics of material and structural analysis is required for a good design. What does it mean? Actually, why we require? Actually, he says that we should have a strong command on analysis. So actually, if we know the applied load, from applied load, we can determine the force reaction. How we are determining the force reaction? By applying the basic principle of statics. We are applying the equilibrium equation and determine this force reaction. And then we know the knowledge of mechanics of material. In mechanics of material, why we need? Because we want to determine the maximum shear force, maximum bending moment, and how we can determine if we are having strong command on structural analysis and we are having a strong theoretical background. Okay, then he says that construction practices and availability of material, labor, machinery, etc. There also need to be considered. Okay, why we are before designing, I must have this point in my mind. Okay, what is this? I will give you the example of connection. So actually, if I want to design a welded connection to join beam and column in my design phase, and later on I will come to know that actually, so there is no any skilled labor available which can weld the beam and column, because for welding we require a skilled labor. And also when we are welding, so we weld the beam and column by a certain electrode, and that electrode is also not available in the market. This means that whatever the design I have done, that is a wastage. I have to redesign depending upon the available resources. So it means that then the second option is that, okay, I will use the bolt design. And again, I will check that what diameter of the bolt are available in market. So if in the market bolt are available, 15 die is available and 25 diameter is available. So I will not design the bolt. I will not design the bolt connection using 20 diameter, because that bolt size is not available. And further, if I want to select a section, channel section, so channel section is not available in the market. In the market, only angle section is available, or I section, wide flange section is available. Then at the start, I will not consider channel section. I will directly start designing the member or select the shape by using the W section or angle section. So we have to consider all these parameters at the design phase. So experience and intuitive feelings for structure behavior are also important. So what are these things? We have to check whether a certain type of the connection can be made in the field or not. We can connect a pipe with the other section or not. How the design behavior is there. So actually the last point, it's come from the experience after maybe 5 to 10 years, and maybe we have to visit the site also before designing to see that whether if we want to make the foundation of a certain column, for the foundation type of the foundation you can select how much space is available, maybe at the boundary line or the property line. So all these are some important parameters. But in summary, I just want to give you that in design, we are given span length, material data, and loading, and we want to select the steel structural shape or the cross section. Okay, the capacity is different. Capacity analysis is always carried out for already constructed structure, and carry it is used to check that whether a certain structure is capable of withstanding all the applied load or not. Or for example, if there is any mistake in the design calculation or not. So I will compare this capacity analysis with the design later on. But before to explain, I will just give you the summary or give you some key points that what are the capacity analysis. So capacity analysis is for a structural member which is already constructed. For example, in the field, uh, what example should I give you? Okay, example is that, for example, maybe on our GT road, maybe on canal, they have constructed many overheaded bridges. Overheaded bridges, they are made of hot rolled beam. So you want to check whether that bridge or that beam are sufficient to carry the loads safely or not. So this one we want to check. So it means that it is already constructed. So what information we are having? Because it is already constructed, so we know the length of that beam. Now we know the cross section also. Because it is already constructed, we know what is the shape, we know what is the length, height of the that beam, what is the width of the plane, what is the thickness of the web, what is the thickness of plane. Cross section is given. It means that we know the cross section properties. If we know the size of cross section, we can compute the moment of inertia and the cross section area of that section. Third thing is that we are also given material data. This will be provided by a designer. Designer will say that I have designed this beam by using 836 steel, or yield strength of this steel is 250 megapascal. Okay, forget about the load. Then what we do, by using the knowledge of structural analysis, we want to compute the load carrying capacity. Load carrying capacity means that how many movement it can carry. Simple example I will give you. Sigma is equal to my over I. You know this equation. So here I really regret that the lecture is online. Actually, during my steel structure lecture, I use the board a lot. Maybe in next slide, maybe I will use the whiteboard and maybe write the equation manually. That will be more clear to you. But at the moment, just listen to me. Sigma is equal to my over I. So this sigma is my over I. These are the, for example, you can say that applied stress. And sigma is the material strength. If we can replace the sigma value with Fy means material strength, and if we are bringing the I and Y on the other side, so sigma value is given 250 megapascal, I value we can compute from the cross section, and Y value is also given. And from this equation, unknown is only moment. So if we are computing this moment is the moment carrying capacity of that beam. And then what we will do, this moment value we will use to compare against the analysis. Which analysis? From the applied load, we are know that what load is considered, and from the applied load, we have plotted the shear force and bending moment diagram. So the moment that I have computed from the equation is the moment carrying capacity. I will compare that moment carrying capacity against the maximum moment which is produced along the beam from the bending moment diagram. If moment carrying capacity is more than applied bending moment, beam is safe to use. If it is less, then structure is not having sufficient strength. We have to either strengthen it or we have to reduce the applied load. So actually, capacity analysis, capacity is always more than the design value. So material properties, spans and cross-section details are given. Load carrying capacity of members or structure is evaluated. From I just have given the one example. Capacity is compared with the applied load. Applied load may be moment, it may be shear force, it may be the point load. If load is lesser than capacity, member design is safe. Okay, before going to this slide, if someone is having question, he can ask me. He can use the raise hand option. Quick question, any? Yes, Mirza Muhammad. Yes, what is the question? Please ask quickly.
सर आपने जो इक्वेशंस लिखी हैं इसमें सर जो my है ये अप्लाइड स्ट्रेस है सर.
अच्छा मैं
सर
अभी
बोर्ड
बोर्ड
दिखा रहे सर.
I got your question. Okay, मैं अभी एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ दोबारा. Okay, please mute your. Okay, मुझे समझ लग गया आपके क्वेश्चन की. मैं यहाँ पे जो है basic design equation. Actually, now we are entering into the design phase. So in design phase, what we do, we actually compare the load effect against the material in maximum internal resistance offered by material of structure. For a time being, let me delete this value. So actually design equation is that we want to compare two things. We want to compare the applied load effect against the maximum resistance offered by shape of a material. here I am using a word load effect. What is the load effect? Load is a general word. This load may be a bending moment, this load may be point load, and this load may be shear force. So we want to compare this load effect with the maximum internal resistance offered by a material, shape of a material. Here I'm using a word resistance offered by a shape of material, not a material. Shape of material means material is having certain proper shape, certain cross section. That shape may be angle shape, that shape may be Z shape, and stab shape may be rectangular or may be wide plane section. So we compare this data and then we want to select the cross section. This is basic design equation. And we use certain factor of safety that I will explain later. Okay, I will use the whiteboard. I will try to write equation maybe by mouse. So maybe handwriting may not be proper. तो ये whiteboard आ गया. अच्छा, टेक्स्ट की ऑप्शन भी आ गई. वेरी गुड. यहाँ पे मैं एक इक्वेशन लिखता हूँ आर ए इज इक्वल टू, इसको मैं कह देता हूँ आर एन. ठीक है. और अगर मैं इसको दोबारा लिखूं तो ये मैं इसको लिखता हूँ अप्लाइड लोड इफेक्ट इक्वल टू रेजिस्टेंस ऑफ शेप ऑफ मटेरियल. ठीक है. ये टेक्स्ट को बड़ा हो जाता है. ये नहीं बड़ा होता है. ठीक है. एनी हाउ, अब ये मैंने इसमें लिखा है. अब इसको मैं सिंपल करने के लिए what is going very slow. अब टेक्स्ट बॉक्स आप किधर गए? Text box is removed. Okay, can you see this whiteboard or not? First of all, let me.
सर व्हाइट बोर्ड नजर आ रहा है लेकिन टेक्स्ट नहीं नजर आ रहा कुछ भी.
अच्छा, कुछ नजर नहीं आ रहा. एक्चुअली थोड़ा सा ये मुझे भी. अच्छा, मैं इसको आर ए अब नजर आ रहा है. आर ए इज इक्वल टू आर एन. ये अब नजर आई क्वेश्चन ये वाली?
नो सर.
आर ए इज इक्वल टू आर एन मैंने भी लिखा है इस पे एक टेक्स्ट बॉक्स पे.
नो सर.
Okay, why you can't see this text box? अच्छा, अब मैं को लिखता हूँ ये जैसे.
सर आ रहा है.
आ रहा. ठीक है. उसका फिर नेट स्लो होगा किसी बंदे का. ठीक है.
अब नजर आ रहा है सर, अब नजर
बस
आ रहा है
ठीक है,
सर।
आपका जरा नेट स्लो है, आपको जरा देर से इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, ठीक है, कोई मसला नहीं। तो अच्छा अच्छा, आर ए इज इक्वल टू आर एन। Actually, the equation that I have written in words, I have written in symbol. RA is applied load effect and Rn is resistance offered by a material shape. Why I am saying that material shape? Because I want to compare against certain equation. So that equation, for example, you know that stress is equal to P over A. ठीक है, that is simple axial equation. So if from this equation, if I bring the P and F on the one side and F on the other side, so P will be on one side and other side will be equal to F, and that will be equal to A. So this F, you can say that this is Fy. Fy mean that you can say that is yield strength of a material. So this is a simple stress equation. F is equal to P over A. This F is the axial stress, which is equal to load acting per unit area. So F is actually is the material strength and P over A is the applied stress. So what is the equation? I am comparing the material strength against the applied stress, because right hand side should be equal to the left hand side. And for your just understanding, I am just writing the F into Fy, because in scale, material strength is equal to yield strength. So if I will bring the A to the other side, then what this will become, P is equal to Fy into A. So what is this P? This P is the applied load, and applied load is equal to material strength multiplied by area. So actually, the applied load is being resisted by a combined effect of material strength and cross-sectional area, or material property, geometric properties and material properties. So it means that applied load effect is being balanced by combined effect of geometric properties and material properties. So that's why I can say that applied load effect is being equated with the shape of a material. Shape of material mean that what is the shape? If it is rectangular, from the shape mean what is the area? If the shape is the I section, I have to compute the area accordingly. And then material, what material is being used? Okay, here, if the Fy load is larger, then Fy is constant. Why Fy is constant? Because Fy is the material strength, so we have to check what material is available in the market. So I cannot change Fy. So it means that only unknown is the area. Unknown will be area, mean that I will increase, want to select the amount of area in such a way that right hand side equation should be balanced with the left hand side. Okay, now I will compare this RA with the
एक्सक्यूज मी सर।
हाँ जी,
सर आप लिख रहे हैं व्हाइट बोर्ड के ऊपर?
हाँ जी, मैं लिख रहा हूँ, लिखा हुआ है, आपको टेक्स्ट आ रहा है सारा।
लेकिन
Okay,
सर मुझे
नजर
तो
तो कुछ नहीं
नजर
आ
नहीं
रहा
आ
था
रहा,
सर।
नजर नहीं
okay,
आ रहा
please.
कुछ भी सर।
Okay, listen. Home 92, can you hear? Can you see the whiteboard? 92.
यस सर।
आपको
मगर
whiteboard
सर
नजर आ रहा है?
सर अब FY नजर आया है, पहले
वो
नहीं आ रहा था।
तो अच्छा, वो आपका अब्दुल हसीब आपको नजर आ रहा है?
यस सर।
आपको whiteboard नजर आ रहा है जो मैं क्वेश्चन वगैरह लिख रहा हूँ?
यस सर, अब नजर आ रही है, पहले नहीं नजर आ रही थी।
सर अभी भी सिर्फ ना एक ही लाइन नजर आ रही है, बाकी कुछ नहीं नजर आ रहा।
यार अपना थोड़ा पैसे खर्चो, नेट सही करो यार। कोई नहीं, मैं देखता हूँ, कोई इशू नहीं, मैं सेटिंग चेक करता हूँ। अच्छा, फिर इसका एक और हल है, चलो कोई बात नहीं, मैं इसका एक और हल करता हूँ। व्हाइट बोर्ड को करते हैं स्विच। ठीक है, इसका एक और हल है। हाँ जी, स्लाइड नजर आ रही हैं?
यस सर।
ओके, शुक्रिया यार। कोई नहीं यार, इंशाल्लाह आस्ता आस्ता जो है ना हम इस चीज़ों को कर लेंगे कवर अप। अच्छा, मैं अब ये इक्वेशन है यहीं पे मॉडिफिकेशन करते हैं। तो यहाँ पे अभी आपने ऊपर जो इक्वेशन लिखी हुई है उसको नहीं देखना, ठीक है। मैं इस इक्वेशन जो द इक्वेशन दैट आई हैव रिटन ऑन द टॉप, आई वांट टू summarize this equation. Forget about that, there is no any factor of safety. I am using a general terminology. One is RA, and RA is equal to Rn. You understand? So R is just a function. RA means applied load effect, and Rn is the resistance offered by a shape of a material. You understand me? So when I talk about RA, RA may be equal to any applied load. It may be equal to tensile load. It may be equal to compressive force. Actually, in steel structure, we show the tensile load T, compressive force P. It may be moment. It may be shear force. You understand me? And accordingly, we will check that what is the resistance offered by a shape of material. So I would give you the example. For example, if the applied load is the tension or the compression P, so we are having a formula: stress is equal to P over A. So this is the state. Actually, this equation say that F is the P over A. P over A is the applied stress, force acting per unit area, and F is the resisting stress, resisting. So resistance is always equal to applied. So this resistance I can, for example, here replace with the material strength, or in other words, applied stress is being compared with the material strength. Okay, from the same equation, if I want to further simplify, I can bring P on the one side and then Fy may be gone on the other side. Into A. Okay, now I can relate this equation with the equation which is written in wording. What is P? P is the RA. RA means this P is the applied load effect, and this is being resisted by shape of a material. Shape of a particular material. What material? Steel, whose shape is certain shape. If it is round circular shape, area I can compute accordingly. If it is rectangular, then area can be computed accordingly. And similarly, if this is the angle section or channel section. So it means that applied load effect is being resisted by combined effect of material strength and geometric properties. Or applied load is being resisted by a combined resistance of material strength and geometric resistance. So in market, if steel's Fy is constant, if Fy is constant, then and P is larger, then what is unknown area? We want to select an area in such a way that this equation is balanced by with this equation. So from this side, I can say that if I want to compute the area, So area is equal to Fy, sorry, P over Fy, because I want to balance the equation. So P is given, material strength is given, unknown is area. Why am I to select the area? I want to select a minimum geometric resistance in such a way that above equation is balanced. So similarly, I will give you the another example. Another example mean that let's suppose I am having movement instead of this. So you know that FB, I'm just writing FB as a bending stress, which is actually in our mechanics of material, we write the F by sigma value. So you can say that this is sigma. Sigma is equal to M Y over I. My over I value, you know this equation. Or you can also write this equation as M divided by S, because you know that I over Y is equal to section modulus. Okay, from this equation, so what is the load? Load is the moment. So I can write this equation as M is equal to FB into S. Or you can write as a FB equal to I over Y. So here, what I want to compare, this moment is the applied load effect, and it is being compared with combined resistance offered by bending stress and bending strength and geometric properties. So FB can be replaced with Y. Bending stress should not be more than yield stress. So it means that applied load effect should be equal to the resistance offered by shape of material. Shape of material, how I can compute S value section modulus or I over Y, that is based upon cross-sectional geometry. Cross-section geometry, what is the moment of inertia and what is the Y? Y is the distance from the neutral axis to the extreme fiber. So this is the basic design equation. Basic design equation means that we compare applied load against the resistance offered by shape of material. Actually, this equation is the perfectly a balanced equation. It means that what we do, I told you that as a structural engineer, so as a structural engineer, we may have lot of approximation and assumption in computing the material strength, because this Fy, when we buy certain material, so we determine its yield strength also in the laboratory. So it means that its yield strength sometimes may not be properly computed, and sometimes we also have assumption in the applied loading. So it means that this equation is actually at collapse state. Collapse state means that if this side will be more, if resistance will be less than the applied load effect, material will fail. So what we do, in order to bring this structure into the safe state, we increase the applied load effect by a certain factor of safety. By certain factor of safety mean that if applied load are 100, so we assume that applied load are not 100, they are 120. So in that case, what we do, if from this simple equation, if because I want to compute the area, so P is the applied load and Fy is constant. So if I'm using the 100% load, so I will have the some area. But again, on the other hand, if I want to compute a area by increasing the load, I can multiply the load by 1.2. I am increasing the load because I am having a lot of approximation in computing the load. So I've increased, multiply with the factor of safety and divide by Fy. So in that case, I will get more area. More area mean that we increase the load effect to bring the structure from the collapse state to the safe state. So if I'm increasing the load, so area will be more. So now I will explain the next slide and then I will take some question also. So here, corresponding to each applied load action, there is a resistive force such as resisting axial force, resisting shear, and resisting movement. I have explained from here. RA could be the tensile force, it could be compressive force, it could be movement, and it could be shear force. And then resistance will be accordingly will change. For example, if applied load will be shear, then I have to compare, I have to use the shear equation, tau is equal to V AY over IB. So in design, applied action and material resistance are equated to each other with some factor of safety. Why some factor of safety? To bring the structure from the collapsed state to the safe state. A bending moment of PL by 4 may never be obtained in a simply supported beam subjected to center load if the member is not sufficiently strong. Okay, this is little bit maybe complicated point for you. So I will give you this one example. Actually, we do not just want to select the shape. We also want to see that material should also be stronger. This means that structure should be strong enough to resist all the applied load safely. Example is that if you are having a cup, maybe from the canteen, you buy a maybe coffee in a disposable cup. So the capacity of the cup is 250 ml. But what happened if you have just poured 100 ml coffee, still have capacity of 150 ml, but the wall of that cup, paper cup, or maybe that is maybe thermocol, it burst out. Why it burst? Because the material strength was not sufficient, or the thickness of the paper was not sufficient. It means that I cannot pour the 250 ml coffee in the cup until unless material is strong enough. It means that although you have selected a beam which is having certain cross section, when you analyze, you have computed maximum moment 100. But when you apply the load, it fail at a load of or at a moment of 50 kilonewton. So it means that we have to bring the structure from collapse state to the safe limit, and it should be sufficiently strong, or should be have sufficient material resistance and pneumatic resistance. So actually at this stage, it looks maybe difficult for you to conceive all the idea, but when we will progress toward a more advanced topic, so it will be clear because I will keep on repeating this topic. So any question at the moment? I would like to take any question. Please use the raise hand option if you are having any question. Gentlemen, any question? 92. Yes, Mirza Muhammad Sarfraz. हाँ जी.
सर आपने कहा कि लोड इंक्रीज से करने से एरिया इंक्रीज होता है सर, कैसे?
लोड इंक्रीज हो गया हमने क्वेश्चन लिखी हुई है मैंने. अब अगर this load is equal to Fy is constant, if I say that, तो मुझे बताओ that if that area is A1 and that area is A2, if A1 will be more or A2 will be more, Fy and P are constant.
जिसके साथ वो 1.2 लिखा है वो ज्यादा होएगा, जिसके साथ बड़ा कांस्टेंट मल्टीप्लाई होएगा.
तो इसमें कोई एक्सप्लेन करने की जरूरत है मुझे? मैं बताता हूँ.
ओके सर.
इसमें क्यों देखो, अगर मैं फैक्ट इफ आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू यूज फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी, देन द कंप्यूटेड एरिया विल बी लेसर. ठीक है, बात समझ लगी मेरी? A1 will be lesser or not? It will be lesser. अगर मुझसे if there is certain mistake from the designer in computing the load, for example, he estimated the load 100, but actual load was 110. It means that due to the actual load, structure is not sufficient, it will fail. आपने जो एरिया कंप्यूट किया वो लेसर होगा. If I have already multiplied with by a certain factor of safety, if I have already increased the load, so required area, computed area will be more than required. It means that if even the load is increased, so the strength of the structure will be sufficient. समझ लगी बात की?
ओके सर.
अभी जब डिजाइन शुरू करेंगे तो इंशाल्लाह और भी इसमें क्लियर हो जाएंगे. अच्छा, here how's about break? It's a good idea or not? वो तो मैं रहूँ यार, मुझे चाहिए. Okay, at the moment the time is 10:56, so there is a break of 15 minutes. So I will be back at 11:10. So in the meantime, अगर कोई if you are having any question, note down. बाद में आप चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं. तो बाद में आपकी लेक्चर स्लाइड भी इंशाल्लाह भेज दूंगा. ठीक है, तो मैं ये रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप करता हूँ ताकि दोबारा दूसरे लेक्चर में रिकॉर्डिंग हो जाए. एंड व्हाई वी यूज दिस फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी. Actually, the factor of safety is always more than one. Just like in the previous example, I told you that we increase the load effect, applied load effect by a certain factor, which is called overloading factor or factor of safety. So why we use it, bring the structure from state of collapse to the safe state. So it brings the structure from state of collapse to usable service state to avoid excessive deformation, cracking, and buckling. So actually, when we are using the stress limit 250 or 250 mean that, let me explain from this previous equation as well. So from this equation, let's suppose this. So I want to rewrite this equation over here. So what I can do, if I will bring this A2 on this side and I will bring this load C on this side. So is it right? So actually what I'm doing, so I am assuming that if A2 is more, then I am reducing the applied stress. So it means that at serviceable stage, the member will not be subjected to the higher stress value. Or simple, just understand from this equation. P, if A2, sorry, from this equation, if area is more, then applied stress will be less. It means that members will not approach to the yielding stress. It means that when the stress is more, it means that material is subjected to larger strain value. So if applied stress are less, because more will be the area, lesser will be the applied stress. So the material to the design load subject to less strain. So due to less strain, it means that there will not be excessive deflection or excessive deflection or cracking behavior. So there are other aspects. It covers uncertainties in load within limit. Load within limit means that, for example, in our roof, we assume that the live load is 200 kilogram per meter square. But in rainy season, for example, our drain is choked. If drain is choked, what will happen? We will be water ponding on our roof. So water will be accumulated on our roofing system. So it means that due to the water ponding, there will be some extra water load which will act on our roofing system. So have we considered this uncertain load? No. So it means that if we are increasing the load by certain factor, or we are using the factor of safety, it means that we are already increasing the applied load by certain factor. If applied load was 200 kilogram per meter square, so we are multiplying with a 20% factor or 40% factor. So this extra load that we are considering that can cover if there is any accidental load which is acting on the structure. Similarly, I will give you the example of a chair we designed to carry a load of a 70 kilogram. Maybe a person whose weight is 70 kilogram can safely sit on the chair. And then we multiply this 70 by a certain factor of safety. If by chance a maybe person of whose weight is 80 kilograms sit on the chair, it must not break. So we cover this uncertainties by using factor of safety. It covers uncertainties in material strength up to certain extent. Certain extent means just small deficiencies. Actually, we buy the material from the vendor, from the market, and the vendor says that the yield strength is 250 megapascal. And we use that material strength in our design calculation to compute the area. I have explained in the previous slide. But actually, when I tested that material in our strength of material lab, but actual yield strength was not 250, it was maybe 230. It was less. It means that I assume larger strength, but actual strength is less. So the factor of safety that I have used that may cover a little bit uncertainties or deficiencies in estimating the material strength. And it also covers part in poor workmanship. Poor workmanship that I told you that if we are using the factor of safety, so we are actually computing the more area, larger area as required. So poor workmanship that at the end we have to cut the material into a different shapes. So I will give you the example of let concrete column. In the concrete column, for example, we have to cast the concrete column whose cross-section area is equal to maybe 12 by 12 inches or 300 by 300 millimeter. But in farm work, actually the farm work is made of wooden planks. So actually due to poor workmanship, so he could not make a proper size, maybe size become shortened. Instead of 300 millimeter, so he has made this size to 90 millimeter. So due to poor workmanship, due to the undersize, so it can compensate because we are using the larger load in the calculation. So our material will be still in safe limit. Also poor workmanship that maybe if structure is not properly welded, connections are not properly designed. So if there is any deficiency that can be covered with factor safety. Okay, please student close your mic. I can see that some of the students, their mics are not closed. So let me mute. Okay, next is the reduce the effect of natural disaster. So actually normally if we have designed the structure only for the gravity load means that dead load and live load. So if there is any earthquake, have we designed the structure for the earthquake load or the natural disaster? So because our structure is having overstrength means that we consider larger load. So a small natural disaster during a small natural disaster, our structure will be safe. Or in some other word, if there is any typhoon or the heavy wind is blowing, due to the heavy wind, our structure will be still in safe limit because we have already considered the extra load in factor of safety. So fabrication erection stresses are taken care of. So fabrication, I have just explained that during manufacturing. So if there is any flaw, so that flaw can be covered in factor of safety. So presence of residual stresses, local stresses concentration are safely considered. This topic we shall discuss in detail in our compression member design. So residual stresses are the stresses which are already present in the structure. And normally this type of stresses are induced due to uneven heating and cooling and a cutting process. So how I can explain this that, for example, if we are having a glass, if glass is already filled 30% by some water, so it means that we can just pour 70% more water. So it means that if structure is already subjected to some load, so its actual load carrying capacity will be reduced. So if we are using the factor of safety, so this can be covered up in that case. Okay, these are the factor of safety that we use. Actually, we are having two design methods we shall discuss. One is called ASD, allowable stress design, where we are using only a single factor of safety 1.67. And in LRFD, I will explain, we are using factor of safety maybe 1.7 for the live load and 1.4 for the dead load. So these are the revised. So I don't want to explain at the moment, because before that you must have the idea of ASD and LRFD design method. Then I will come back to this slide again. Okay, now what are different design methods? Design method, there are different design methods. Number one is called the limit state. Limit state means that we want to put certain limit on a certain criteria. So stage in loading after which the structure cannot fulfill its intended function, the structure is assumed to be fail. In limit fail. Okay, the example is that, again, I would like to give a simple example again, the glass. The glass total capacity of the glass is 250 ml. But I have put a limit. I have marked that I cannot fill, I will never fill this glass beyond 200 ml. Still, I can fill until 250 ml. But I have marked on the glass with maybe a marker. This is my limit. I will never ever pour the water more than 200 ml. So is a limit. So this is my limit state. So limit state means that if I have poured the water more than 200 milliliter, 200 milliliter mean that I have poured water 210 ml. I will assume that glass is failed. Glass is failed means that it is ruptured or it is broken, even though it is not actually broken. But I will assume, because the stress or the water has exceeded my limit. Even though the actual failure will not occur, but I will assume that it is failed. Why I will assume? Because extra is the extra. I still have some extra reserve capacity, but that is for accidental cases. For example, if by mistake I have poured some extra water or the beverage, so still it can carry the extra beverage. So similarly, we put certain limit. So after the limit, still the structure can carry some more load, but that capacity is reserved for any accidental case. This means that here you can understand the effect of factor of safety. Actually, the capacity is 250 ml. I have put some factor, so I'm not assuming the capacity 250, rather I'm assuming as 200 ml. If by mistake, if I have poured more water, so it can still carry more water or more beverage. So limit state may be related with strength or with serviceability consideration. Serviceability consideration mean that either we can put the limit on the stress. Serviceability means deformation or the strain limit. So if we are putting the limit with the stress, then it will be called strength limit state design. If we have put the limit on our deformation, then it will be called the serviceability limit state. So actual collapse is not necessary. I have explained. Actual collapse is not necessary. Collapse means actual breaking or rupture is not necessary, but I will assume failure. I told you that I pour the water 200 ml in cup or in a glass, but it still have some reserve capacity, but I will assume it is failed. Actual failure is not occurring, but I'm assuming it is failed. Why? Because I want the glass to be remain in safe limit. So strength limit state corresponding to maximum strength. Maximum strength, it may be ultimate strength, It may be shear strength, it may be yielding strength, it may be buckling strength in case of the compressive load, it may be fatigue or plastic mechanism, overturning or sliding. Depending upon the applied load, we can put the limit on any type of the strength. So serviceability, states are concerned with occupancy, such as excessive deflection, undesirable vibration, permanent deformation, excessive cracking, and behavior in fire. So actually, for example, in case of beam, we are having allowable deflection. I do not want the deflection in beam exceed certain limit. Deflection in beam should not be 20 millimeter or should not be more than 25 millimeter. Even though if deflection will be more than 20 or 25 millimeters, structure is still safe. But I have put the limit. Deflection should not be very large in this structure. So these are the serviceability. Structure should not cross any strength or serviceability limit for a perfect design. So who put this limit? Who is defining? Actually, this limit can be taken from the code, from this design specification, or if you are an experienced engineer or designer, you can put your own limit based upon your design. For example, I do not want the elastic deformation on a certain roofing system. First floor of any hospital building should not be more than 10 millimeter. Why? Because might be on the first floor we have installed one X-ray machine or one laser machine. If the deflection will be excessive, then the alignment of the laser machine or the X-ray will be disturbed. So we want to control the serviceability. Strength and ductility. In general, structures are designed for strength against load. Strength means that the stress should not be more than certain limit. So strength of material means that what maximum stress may be developed. Ductility means how much deformation or are produced before the final failure. Ductility means that ductility is, in other words, is serviceability limit state. So deformation should not be more than certain point before the final failure. And in the first case, the applied stress should not be more than certain value before the final failure. Actually here, collapse or failure is my limit. Actual failure is not been occurred, but this is my limit. What limit is that? I will explain again. Yield strength of steel is 250 megapascal. Steel will fail when yield stress will be 250 megapascal. But I have put a limit. Instead of considering the failure stress 250, I have put limit, so I am considering this stress as a 200 megapascal. So if applied stress will be more than 200 megapascal, structure will collapse or fail on paper, but actually it is not being failed because I put the limit. Similarly, if ductility or deformation will be more than certain point, I will assume that structure is failed. Although structure will not actually fail. Sometimes design is more based upon ductility than strength, such as for earthquake loading. Actually, in earthquake loading, we want large deformation in the structure. Why we want large deformation? We want that structure should deform before final failure, because when the structure is being deformed, so it is dissipating the energy. Energy is being used to deform the shapes. So deformation will only occur in certain members, maybe in beams, not in column. So we design some weak members, maybe in column, so that during earthquake, deformation will occur in beam and column should be remain in elastic limit, so we can replace the beam later on. For heaviest earthquake, only ductility is provided for safety of life and perhaps not for complete safety of structure. Because when deformation is occurs, structure is failed. So in permanent deformation, structure will never come back to original position. The availability before final collapse due to ductility is called warning before failure, and we have already discussed it. So next are the design methods. So we are having actually three design methods. Allowable stress design, that is an obsolete design. we are still using in steel structure to a certain extent, but from concrete structure, we have completely discarded this design method. And second design method is stance design, which is also called load and resistance stack design or limit state design. Why we are calling limit state, we will discuss. And last method is the plastic design. Okay, at the moment, if you are having any question, quick question you can ask me before I will explain AFD. Anybody is having question? Okay, if there is no any question, then I will resume the lecture again. Actually, our design equation is same. So I would like to modify this slide. Actually, what we are doing in this method, so our design equation is same. So you can say that if forget about this factor of safety for time being. So this equation is same. External load effect should be equal to resistance offered by a material. Material resistance. Actually, I will modify material resistance of structure shape. This is supposed to be the actual heading, because this is not only the material resistance, but rather the material resistance offered by shape. Shape mean that if the area is more, then resistance will be more. And then I told you that this is the basic equation that we can write like this. So external load effect we can write into RA, and resistance offered by shape structural shape is Rn. I told you that in order to bring this equation into safe limit, we are multiplying the factor of safety with load. If something is being multiplied here, it means that if we are bringing on the other side, then it will be divided on the other side. Okay, further in this equation, omega is the strength reduction factor. So let's suppose I'm taking the example of simple axial load case. In axial load case, applied load may be tensile load. And this load should be less than or equal to, let me use the equal sign. It should be equal to strength offered by. Actually, in case of tension, this Rn will be equal to maybe Fy into cross section area. And then it will be divided by omega. So where this Fy coming, just assume that T over A is equal to Fy, and then it is being divided by omega. Actually, T is the applied tensile load, and Fy into area is the resistance offered by material whose cross-sectional area is A. So what we do, we use a factor of safety is being used on the right side of the equation. So material resistance offered by shape of structural shape is divided by a factor of safety, which is called omega value or strength reduction factor. Actually, I told you this omega value is always more than 1. This omega value is always more than 1. So normally in ASC, this value is almost 1.67. So this value of omega is 1.67. We use a factor of safety 1.67 in ASD. So let me tell you that if cross-sectional area is constant, or I can also write this equation like this, omega 1 divided by 1.67 is equal to 0.6. So 0.6 into Fy into area. So if I assume that area is constant, then I can write this equation in another way. So it means that 0.6 is multiplied by this stress value. So, or I can say that you can write this equation into another form. So I have to use a symbol maybe. I don't know, maybe it's visible in the next slide or not. Maybe I can pick the symbol quickly from next upcoming slide. Let's get like that. Yes, please. So actually 1 over omega is referred as a phi value. Phi value is the strength reduction factor. So in ASD, factor of safety is used on the right hand side of equation or with material resistance, which is provided by structure shape. We know that factor of safety is always more than 1. So normally in ASD, we are using a factor of safety 1.67. So if we are computing the factor 1 over 1.67 or 1 over omega, so 1 over omega is equal to pi value, and 1 over 1.67 will be equal to zero point 0.6. So what I want to do, I want to explain if I'm assuming area as a constant. So what we are doing in this equation, we are assuming the material strength as a 60% of yield strength. What you understand? It means that we are not, we have put certain limit on stress or material strength. Instead of assuming the material strength equal to Fy yield stress, we are assuming that the strength of material is 60% of Fy. If I multiply 0.6 into Fy is 250, then this stress will be equal to 150 megapascal. It means that instead of considering the material strength 250 megapascal, I am considering the material strength as 150 megapascal. So it means that this is called as a allowable stress design or ASD. Allowable stress means that I do not want this. I do not want to allow this stress to exceed certain limit, which is zero point 0.5 Fy. This means that just assume 250 ml is the capacity of the cup, but I'm assuming I have put the limit until 150 ml. If water is or the beverage is poured more than 150, it is assumed to be failed, but actually it is not failed. I can still pour the water 100 ml. It means that I am wasting lot of, or I'm ignoring the lot of reserve capacity. I should have used a smaller cup if I am not going to pour the water more than 150. I should have buy the smaller cup. Why I'm buying the larger cup whose capacity is 250 if I am not gonna pour the beverage more than 150 ml? So actually that is the reserve capacity. So reserve capacity mean that uh, if by accident if the I have put the more beverage, it will be still safe. But what will happen? Structure will become uneconomical. Uneconomical how? Because in this equation again, uh, for example, I am using this equation. If I know the applied load T and area is unknown, because I want to select this structure shape. So this equation will be like that. Area will be equal to E over 0.6 Fy. From this equation, I am comparing the apply load effect with the material resistance. So I am modifying this equation. T is known, apply load are known, material strength is known, but I have put the limit to the material strength 0.6. So it means that if I'm considering smaller strength of material, it means that I will compute the larger area. If I'm not using 0.6, then the area will be lesser. Lesser will be denominator, more will be the answer. And if the more is denominator, less will be area. It means that I'm computing the area larger than required. If the area required is 100 by 100 millimeter, so I'm providing the area as a 150 by 150 millimeter. So this will be more expensive, uneconomical, but obviously it will be safe. So this is the AST. In AST, we are using a factor of safety only on one side of the equation, right side of the equation, and material strength or material resistance of structure shape is divided by a factor of safety which is called omega, and 1 over omega is referred as phi value. So here you can write also that here you can write this phi is equal to 1 divided by omega. So if we can use symbol F support factor of safety, but in ASD factor of safety is represented by omega. So now we will discuss different stages. So what are the advantages of ASD? Elastic analysis for load and elastic material behavior become compatible. Actually, if we are not loading, actually when we are deriving certain equation, we assume that all the stresses are within the elastic range and material is perfectly homogeneous. If I'm not allowing the stress to increase more than 60% of Fy, so our material will be still in the elastic range. If I'm moving more toward yield stress, then the stress strain relationship will not be linear. So in this case, if I'm not do not want to exceed the stress beyond certain limit, so our elastic material will behave more elastic and material behavior will be compatible with our design. So senior engineer are used this method. Actually, this method um, it was maybe introduced in Pakistan maybe after 2000. Maybe Dr. Zaid Ahmed Siddiqui, he first introduced this method when he returned after his PhD, maybe probably in 2002 or 2003. So he faced a lot of resistance, but gradually, after the effort of 10 years, so now the this method is discarded. Now LRFD method is being used. So all the old engineers who are graduated before 2010, they are still using ASD method. But all the new engineers or new researchers, they are using another method which is called LRFD that we will study. So all the old book and literature is available in ASD. It was the only design method in past. So AISC specification of 2005, he has considered this method as an alternative. Alternative means that as an option, second option. Before 2005, there was only ASD method. But now in the latest code, they have removed this ASD method maybe completely for concrete structure design. But still, some part of the structure member are used are designed by using ASC. So latest research and literature is disadvantage is that latest research and literature is very much limited. Now all the literature, books and research papers are published in with other method, not ASC. So same factor of safety is used for different load. The failure mode is never directly predicted with some overload. Okay, let me explain. This is an important point. I will freeze and okay. Same factor of safety is used for different loads. How I will explain. So I will again make a duplicate of this slide. Okay, let me come over here. Or if I want to use this equation like this. If omega is being divided over here, if I want to bring on the other side, so it will be multiplied with this case. So actually I told you that applied load may be any load, RA, TA compression tension. Actually the load is this load, tensile load. This may be summation of dead load plus live load. And then I'm multiplying with omega. Whereas factor of safety and our this equation is this one. Okay, if omega is 1.67, just like in the previous slide I have considered, so this factor is 1.67. So it means that if I will open up the bracket, it means that both dead load and live load both are being increased by 67%. So it means that it is unnatural. So unnatural means that we are increasing in the dead load and live load by the same factor, which is not realistic. What, why there is not unrealistic? Again, I will give you the example. Actually, I want to give the example which are easy to understand. For example, you are sitting in a classroom, maybe C6, where we are having a chair. So I assume weight of a single chair is equal to maybe 50 kilograms. So it means that if I want to take the weight of all 50 chairs, so the fluctuation of dead load is not much. Maybe one chair may be 50 kilogram, other may be 52 kilogram, maybe another chair will be 48, maybe a maximum weight of a single chair may be 60. The chair dead load or the self weight of a chair may not be increased by maybe 10%, 20%. So I should not increase the dead load by 67% because that is quite unrealistic. But the live load can change. So the more factor of safety should be used with the live load. Maybe a student is sitting whose weight is 60 kilogram. Maybe next day a student is sitting whose weight is 90 kilogram. So the fluctuation in live load may be more. So realistic approach is that I should use a different factor of safety with the dead load and different factor of safety for the live load. So which is making the structure non-realistic, especially in concrete structure. If I'm increasing the self weight and dead load by 67%, this means that I'm considering very large load. And for the heavy load, if I will compute the cross-section area, so cross-section area will be very heavy, very large. It will be more than requirement. Where I require the cross-section area 100 and 100, I have computed 200 by 200. it is uneconomical. So it means that that is not realistic. So other disadvantages might be failure mode is not directly predicted. So we cannot predict the failure. For example, I have told you that if the stress we have put the stress limit, although the material strength is 250 megapascal, but we have put the limit 150. If anyhow the stress applied load is more, stress has increased more than 150, maybe they are 175. So on paper, the structure is fail because the stress has increased 150 limit, but structure is not fail because structure will fail when the actual stress will be more than yielding stress. So failure mode cannot be predicted. With some overloading, material stress increase, but do not go to the collapse limit. So do not go to the collapse limit means that if I have applied some extra load more than design load, so the stress is maybe more than 150 megapascal, maybe 200 megapascal. So on paper, structure is fail, but still we have reserve capacity in structure 50 megapascal because structure will fail when the applied stress will be equal to more than yield stress. Ductility and warning before failure cannot be studied precisely. Actually, ductility and warning we can only achieve if material is entering into the elastic yielding zone. Within the elastic range, the material ductility or the strain will be very less. So results cannot be compared with the experimental test up to collapse. For example, I told you that we cannot compare. Actually, the design load and the capacity, they are different. So actually in the cup I have designed to carry the 150 ml water, but actual water I can pour is 250. This means that if I have designed a structure or a beam simple for a design load of 100 kilonewton, but after making that beam and if I actually test in the lab, so its capacity will be 200 more than the design load. So I cannot compare it. So I would like to stop here. So next time I will start this strength design and LRF design. So at the moment I can realize that it is difficult for you to grasp all the idea. But with the time I will repeat all the things many times over and over again. So if you will have any question, then I will explain. So whenever we will enter into the design phase of tension member design and compression member design. So I will repeat this slide again. I will explain that, okay, we have discussed this idea here. So now we are implementing this idea in this particular design. So if you are having any question at the moment, please, you are welcome to ask any question. So inshallah, it's my promise. I will upload all the lecture slides by tonight or after lecture and all the videos also. In case your CR can remind me maybe in afternoon between Maghrib and Isha time. Maybe some of the students actually they send me message at 11 p.m. That is not appropriate time. Okay, if there is no any emergency. So if there is any question,
Okay, sir.
so any question, please, you can use the raise hand option. किसी का कोई question है? Anybody is having question? CR? अच्छा मैं अभी
Yes, sir.
अच्छा ये फरहान 686 मौजूद हो तुम इधर फरहान 686 नहीं मौजूद ऑनलाइन हो के
Yes, sir.
अच्छा मौजूद
Yes, sir.
अच्छा बिलाल मिर्जा आर यू देयर
Yes, sir.
बिलाल मिर्जा
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ये अभी इंजीनियर पहले ही बन गया एक बंदा में तो कौन है इंजीनियर एहतशाम साहब आप मौजूद हैं ठीक है बात चलेगा मौजूद है तो ये 170704 up to एक्चुअली आप अपने ईमेल पे ना अगर अपना कोई नाम या नंबर सेट करें ताकि मुझे बाद में सेंडर में परेशानी ना हो। हाफिज समर, समर हाफिज। हाँ जी ठीक है, पता चल गया आप ही मौजूद हैं। हसन सज्जाद, आर यू देयर? हसन सज्जाद।
यस सर।
ठीक है जी, ठीक है जी। उबैब।
यस सर।
ओके गुड। मियाँ साहब हैं, मियाँ हसन अली साहब। मियाँ जी आप मौजूद हैं? मियाँ हसन अली। ठीक हो गया, ठीक। मुबीन, आर यू देयर? मुबीन।
यस सर।
ठीक है, चले मैं भी मौजूद हूँ सब। Okay, I would like to conclude the lecture if there is no any question. So inshallah, see you the next time. Allah Hafiz.